puts on his finest Moulin Rouge and joins Indiana Jones burrowing in some hot fuzz. Who's gonna fit ladies out of shape? Because it's Jim Broadbent on tonight's Hollywood Swingers.
That professional introduction means it's time for our favourite segment of the show, Hollywood Swingers, where we celebrate those Hollywood movie stars who have made a swing into music. This week it is Jim Broadbent. Tell me about him, Paul.
James Broadbent, born this day, 24th of May in 1949.
Happy
He's
birthday!
Celebrating his 75th year on this here green earth.
Happiest
today.
of birthdays to Jim Broadbent.
What better present can you have than to be
A Hollywood
this week's
swinger?
Hollywood swinger?
Yes.
He was born in Holton-cum-Beckering, a small village in Lincolnshire, to sculptor mother Doreen and artist and furniture maker dad Roy. Both his parents were also amateur actors who founded the Holton Players acting troupe, which was made up of conscientious objectors of the Second World War.
Okay, so he is like a hippie.
Yep, rebels,
Yes.
rebel stock artists, that was him.
Bohemia.
And the young Broadbent looked to follow his parents into the art world, attending art college with an eye to maybe become a sculptor or an art teacher. But the allure of the stage was too much, and he transferred to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art.
Yep.
Now, at the time though, even when he graduated, other than a few small roles in things like the comedy show Not the 9 O'Clock News, or blink and you'd miss appearances in British films like the James Mason action or The Passage, most of Broadbent's significant early work was on the stage, which is where he would first work with the celebrated director Mike Leigh, and what would turn out to be a very fruitful collaborative relationship in later years. What are you laughing at?
I have repeatedly got Mike Leigh and Spike Lee mixed up.
They're very different people,
know that.
actually, my word. In fact, it was due to working on a play with Lee that he decided to turn down the role of Del Boy in the then upcoming BBC sitcom Only Fools and Horses.
I think he was right.
Broadbent admits that if he had taken it anyway, he'd likely have chucked it after a year or two.
Yeah.
So he jokes that him turning that down is probably his biggest contribution to UK culture. He would, though, appear as the memorably villainous DCI Roy Slater a few times throughout the series.
Yeah.
If you remember, he was the kind of bad cop that was always trying to get them. He would always appear in the big special episodes and stuff like that. Most of the 80s still saw Broadbent mostly star on stage, though he would often pop up on screen in small roles in episodes of things like Blackadder, Tales of the Unexpected, Crown Court, as well as supporting appearances, very small ones, in films like Time Bandits, Brazil, Eric the Viking, and a strange appearance as a nuclear arms dealer in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
That's wild. My weird favourite thing about Jim Broadbent is he's a Teletubby. He's the voice of the Teletubbies.
Yeah, we'll get to
Okay,
that.
cool.
Not yet. In fact, though, if you go back, it wasn't actually until 1990, at the age of 41, that Broadbent made his actual film breakthrough, starring in the comedy drama Life is Sweet for his old pal Mike Leigh, alongside Alison Steadman and Jane Horrocks.
Yes.
Critically acclaimed, and this started off a chain reaction of him establishing himself as a character actor throughout the 90s.
Yeah.
Appeared in films like Neil Jordan's The Crying Game, the comedy Bullets Over Broadway. There was a modern retelling of Richard III with Sir Ian McKellen and Robert Downey Jr. It
Ooh.
was set during like the World War II. It's not really modern, but you know what I mean. They modernised it. Then 1995 saw Broadbent star as the lead in a BBC sitcom called The Peter Principle, 2 series, but it wasn't until 1997 that the actor took on a major leading film role. He played Pod Clock, the family patriarch, in the 1997 comedy The Borrowers.
The Borrowers.
The Borrowers.
Not the Burrowers. It's the Borrowers, you absolute idiot.
I've read the books as well.
They borrow, they don't burrow.
They should borrow though.
Love
They wouldn't get caught.
The Borrowers. Interestingly, has one of our personal favourite actors in it, Tom Felton.
Is he in
He's
that?
the little boy.
Is he? Didn't even know that. Since then, though, the number of big films he's been in is staggering. 1998 saw appearances in The Avengers, not the Marvel one, the rubbish remake of the telly programme.
Yes.
He was in Little Voice with Michael Caine and Jane Horrocks.
Oh, I love that film
people
so much.
loved it. 2001, stellar year though for the actor. Not only was he in the first Bridget Jones' Diary,
As Daddy.
played her dad,
Uh-huh.
but he also starred in the wildly successful musical Moulin Rouge for Baz Luhrmann.
The jukebox musical.
For which he received a BAFTA for his performance as the owner, Harold Zidler.
Oh, I loved it. Paul, I was a kid and I loved it. It was so
People still
colourful
love it.
and
It's
noisy.
one of these films it's forever going to live on as some of people's favourite films.
Yeah.
And he was a massive part of that. But the same year, he also gave an outstanding supporting turn opposite Judi Dench in the drama Iris,
Yeah.
which saw Broadbent win both a Golden Globe and an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. 2001, he won the BAFTA, the Golden Globe, and an Academy Award across the two films.
Oh, what a year for him.
Yeah.
Like, but what a year to be like a jobbing actor who's kind of, oh, you're that guy who's in that thing, and then in 1 year you're in two of the biggest, like, pop culture films of the year. Bridget
Yeah.
Jones is in Moulin Rouge, and one of the most critically acclaimed films of the year,
Yeah,
Iris.
it's massive, but yeah, like he was a job, and not. I don't mean it in a derogatory sense, but he's working away. We know him. We kind of know his face as that guy.
There's actors like who we've done before, Wolverine, who just star in like a couple of films. They're not in that much.
I'm not in many,
but
He's
he
been
is
in
a working actor.
loads.
Yeah.
The rest of the 2000s saw the actor star. It would mix it up. He would be in a mixture of British films and then be in a big box office film. He had turns in things like Nicholas Wickleby, Vera Drake, sandwiched with the likes of Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York. He was in the live-action adaptation of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and albeit it was rubbish, but he was in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I forgot he was in Vera Drake, which is the film I made all of my friends watch for my 16th birthday because Daniel Mays was in it and I was his main fan.
Yeah, not a good film for a 16th birthday party. Having turned down a role in Shaun of the Dead, Broadbent regretted this after seeing the film, so he schmoozed Simon Pegg at a BAFTA event to get in touch if they were ever doing anything else. That anything else turned out to be Hot Fuzz, and that led to his memorable role as Inspector Frank Butterman.
Right.
Great big bushy beard.
Yeah.
2009, he supported Michael Sheen in the brilliant Brian Clough film The Damned United, as well as finally appearing in the Harry Potter franchise. Everybody's got to take their turn, and he was playing Professor Horace Slughorn.
Professor Horace Slughorn, he's the potions master. He is a
Head
chronic
of Slytherin.
social climber. Loves a legacy, loves a famous Marda. So obviously loved Harry Potter.
I loved him. Since then, he's kind of hit that national treasure level. He turns up in a
100%.
multitude of favourites. Like he's been in both the Paddington movies. He plays the guy who runs the antique shop. He was in The Iron Lady with Meryl Streep. 2 more Bridget Jones movies where he played the dad. And even showed up in Game of Thrones playing Archmaster? Maester?
Yes.
Evros?
Ebros. Archmaester Ebros from the Citadel.
Right, okay. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I've told you. You know this.
So it's like every fancy house in Game of Thrones has like a kind of like priest stroke doctor stroke learned man who lives with them, and he's like the head of them, and they all get trained at the Citadel where they learn.
Fair enough. Well, he was in four episodes of it, but that's very different to his other role that you mentioned earlier as the voice of the trumpet in the Teletubbies. So every time the Time for Tubby Bye-Bye.
That's Jim Broadbent.
Jim Broadbent.
That's one of my favourite facts, along with the guy from Alan Partridge who goes, "Oh, Mr. Partridge," is one of the meerkats, and that
Octonauts.
Oscar-winning guy from the Drum film is the yellow M&M.
J.K.
Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
I love when people do a weird voice acting.
And as of late, the actor has had a lovely run as the lead in a couple of British movies that have hit the cinema in recent years, including 2020's critically acclaimed The Duke with Helen Mirren. That's the one where he steals the painting. And last year's touching drama, The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. Both of them big hits, very critically acclaimed.
Also, it seems to be a thing in British film where if you're a man and you reach a certain age, you get to make a film about where you rob a bank or an art gallery, but everybody likes you for it.
I think he's done maybe 4 of them.
But like Michael Caine, him...
He was in one with Michael Caine.
You get to a certain age where, as a British actor, you're like, I'd like to rob the rich now.
We just seem to, as a country, love heist movies.
Oh, we love a bank robber movie. We love a heist.
But they've got to be down to earth. lovable Cockney robbers.
We need these men or women sometimes to be likeable. It's Robin Hood. It's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
It's a tale as old as
That's all
time.
it is.
We want to see the poor rob from the rich, played by the rich, made by the rich, benefiting the rich.
And with a third Paddington movie due out later this year, and he also has an upcoming movie with George Clooney and Adam Sandler in the pipeline. Untitled as of yet.
I love
but
Adam
what is
Sandler,
this?
so I'll definitely see it.
It's currently filming. It looks like there's going to be plenty more from the actor in the coming years. And you know what? Long may it continue.
Yes.
National treasure, Jim Broadbent. Happy birthday, 75 years.
Absolutely love you. Love everything you're in. Apart from Paddington, I don't get it. Everybody loves it. I tried. It's a creepy bear. Why is nobody more weirded out by it?
By this bear that can talk and eats marmalade.
Yeah, but also like gets involved in everybody's business. Mind your business, Paddington.
It's
Son
just
of your
really clumsy.
get your neb out of my work.
It's not my job to teach you how the world works. Learn.
Go on the Google. Other search engines are available.
But to tonight's song, and I can't go to the big hit musical Moulin Rouge, as some of his singing was actually dubbed for the higher notes. So instead, I'll go to the 2019 Children in Need album, Got It Covered.
Yes.
We have gotten some mileage off this album, by
Thank
the way.
you, Children Need, for all your hard work for the
If you're-
children,
if
but
you're
also
looking-
for this.
If you're looking for an idea to make money and also help us out, 2024, make another album.
Yes.
And I would advise all the listeners to really soak in and appreciate the singing endeavours of Jim Broadbent here, because he only does it once in a blue moon.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms will ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And then I looked, the moon it turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own, without a love of my own, without a love of my own, without a love of my own. Without a love of my own.
That was this week's Jim Broadbent, our Hollywood swinger for this week. We want to know your score for him. Here in the Ashley Storrie Show, we give our Hollywood swingers a score of Kenny Rogers roasters from 1 to 100, 1 being
Have
the
you
worst,
forgotten how
100
to
being the
work?
best.
Hollywood Swingers.
Kind of. I don't know what's I've got a really sore lower back, and it's all I can think about just now.
You were also munching chocolate.
I was.
I can hear it.
I was eating chocolate. I've got thick. So have you, though. You're saying that like you've not got a minstrel tucked in your cheek right now.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to explain the scoring conventions for a thing we made up.
Here in the Ashley Storrie Show, we rank our Hollywood swingers on a scale of 1 to 100 Kenny Rogers roasters. Kenny Roger being the original and the best Hollywood swinger. Paul, I'm going to come to you first. How many Kenny Rogers roasters do you give to this week's Hollywood swinger, Jim Broadbent?
I mean, it's not going to win any Grammy Awards, but you know what? It was nice. And then he won extra points for just that wee talky bit at the end. So I'm going to give it a solid 70.
I think I'm up there in like the 70s as well. I really enjoy it. How old was he today?
75.
I'm giving him 75.
75. That's the way it should be. I'm giving
75
it
Kenny Rogers roasters.
For the big 75-year-old birthday boy,
Yeah.
Jim Broadbent.
Happy birthday.
And if you're listening in, Jim, because it's your birthday,
JB,
send us a wee text. I'll play you a song. Anything you want.
Hi, Ashley and Paul. Craig from Shreg. Love Jim Broadbent, so his tune has the feel of an older relative singing at some family gathering. Although it did sound a little auto-tuned, it did. Whatever, he's getting a solid 85 Kenny Rogers toasters, as he's a total legend. Thank you so much for getting in touch. You can get in touch with your score via text 80295, or you can email us ashleystorieshow@bbc.co.uk, or you can WhatsApp us 08085 92 95 00. Let us know how many Kenny Rogers roasters you're giving to Jim Broadbent. Let's have a little palate cleanser, though we don't need one because that was absolutely delicious. Here's Paul Simon with... I thought that said you can call me AI, and I was like, oh, he's getting quite edgy.